All right, guys, you may have heard the saying in the past, a fool and his money are easily parted. The wisdom in this specific quote reminds us that the more you know about money and how it works, the better your chances are going to be of keeping as much of that as possible. In personal finance, there is no knowledge that isn't powerful, which is why the VIP Financial Education channel is even here in the first place, is to help you guys enhance your financial welfare through videos on interesting and relevant subjects that relate to how you manage your both personal and business finances. Now, today's video is the first in a three-part series on the subject of predatory lending. Throughout this series, what I want to do is explore why predatory lending even exists in the first place, how it operates, and what you can do to protect your business, protect your brand, protect your bottom line from being chewed up by unscrupulous loan sharks. So you're going to want to make sure you stick around for this series. Stay tuned. All right, guys, when you think of the word predatory, what comes to your mind? Maybe you think a little bit about the movie Predator, which involves a stealth hunter who would track down its prey under the cover of nightfall. Or maybe you're actually thinking of predators. Maybe you think of carnivores in the animal kingdom, like lions or wolves. Fierce attackers that target the weak, the vulnerable. Well, the sad reality is that predatory lenders actually do, in a way, seek out their prey not much differently than a pack of wolves hunting in the night. And because many predatory lenders are backed by various laws and regulations that justify their actions, there's really not a lot that can be done to stop them once they've actually been zeroed in on their targets. Think of payday loans, for example. Now, you'll see a lion actually might view the weak gazelle as a potential meal, or a predatory lender targets struggling businesses that are desperate for money to keep their doors open, and they view them as prime potential for quick profits. Predatory lenders know that small business owners will sometimes do absolutely anything to keep their companies afloat, even if that means taking on a very expensive advanced loan debt. And if it means that giving their failing business a chance at redemption in the long term, people will do this. So predatory lenders often entice borrowers with promises of providing them with quick cash. And that quick cash is needed, cash that they might not be able to get from a commercial bank for any number of various reasons. So in exchange for the infusion of cash that the small business owner is going to get, the lender often gets ownership of debt that carries with it some of the most obscenely high interest rates you're going to find. Interest rates as high as 400%, or in some cases even higher than that each year. And because predatory lenders know going into this that many of their borrowers won't be able to repay the loans, complicated legal documents and proceedings are used to their advantage, resulting in the small business being left holding the bag. And very, very often that is an empty bag. So to give you a clearer picture of how this all works, I want to tell you about something called a confession of judgment. Back in the medieval England times, courts of the day came up with something called a confession of judgment. It's a legally binding agreement. It's between a lender and a borrower that basically gives the lender unrestricted collection power if there ever happens to be a dispute among two parties. So if I were to lend you money and a confession of judgment was signed between us, I'd be able to basically take legal action to recoup the full balance of my loan, plus any fees and interest that come along with it at the very first sign of non-payment. What the confession of judgment did was it granted 100% assurance to the lender that their loaned money would actually be returned to them if there was a dispute between the lender and the borrower. And this may actually seem like a completely twisted way of arranging a business loan, but the confession of judgment has lived on as a viable legal document all the way up to today, where it's still being used in the state of New York as a way for predatory lenders to back their borrowers into a corner, and even in some cases drain them for every single dollar that they have. Even though predatory lending has been around for hundreds of years, and while confessions of judgment are nothing new, there has been a recent unprecedented spike in the use of them as a legal tool for collections. Just in the past 5 years alone, judgments by confession in favor of merchant cash advance companies in New York State, they've grown from just 14 in the years leading up to 2014 to more than 3,500 between 2014 to last year, 2018. So it paints a dire picture, obviously, for anybody that's gullible enough to buy into the promises that are made by predatory lenders, especially when they have the courts in their corner. In one case involving a struggling real estate firm in Florida, a predatory lender was actually able to use the New York court system, and they demanded full repayment of more than $50,000 that was loaned, plus interest, plus the fees. And they got it all at once. And with almost no warning to the borrower. All the lender had to say to the courts was that a single payment was missed. Then the courts issued demand to the bank where the borrower had their money invested. And the next thing the borrower knew, their money was gone. It was basically garnished. Their hopes of making their business successful was squashed, and their company actually failed to exist any longer. It put them out of business. So unfortunately, these cases are not isolated. They're not even few and far between. They're becoming increasingly common, and it's a perfect example of why, in the world of business loans, there are plenty of rotten apples that you need to avoid. As enticing as no questions asked cash loans may seem, they almost always come along with strings attached to them, and getting out of them isn't always as easy as it might seem. I think back to a relationship that I've talked about on a number of occasions here on the channel. I met this amazing woman who approached us in desperate need of guidance. We took a look at her circumstances whereby she had borrowed $3,000 worth of payday loans. It was over the course of 6 total loans, $500 a piece, and she was paying $75 every 2 weeks per loan. A total of $450 every 2 weeks, $900 every single month in just interest costs. $900 a month in interest costs based on $3,000 lent. And she had been paying on this for many months with no progress to the principal reduction. That left a great opportunity for us to partner and have a win-win situation. We were able to use 0% debt weapons. We paid off the $3,000 for her. We arranged a repayment process from her that saved her lots of money every month, and it also made us a large profit by the end. So it was a terrific opportunity that we were able to identify where we could use tools that were available to us in order to save somebody else that had made one of these predatory agreements with a different lender. Now, to learn more about the legal mechanisms that make predatory lenders so much money, and to help bolster your own defenses against these types of nefarious business people, I want you to stay tuned to parts 2 and 3 of this series, because we're going to dive into that. I do want to thank you for tuning into the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel. As always, don't forget to like the video if you want us to continue to do more videos cautioning you on ways to stay safe as budding entrepreneurs, regardless of how long you've been an entrepreneur, regardless of how long you've been involved in things like real estate investing. It's important for us to continue to understand where the risks are and how to avoid them. So make sure you drop a like on this video if you want us to continue to make more videos like this. Turn on that bell notification so you're alerted every time we upload a new video, which is several times a week. Okay guys, so as I mentioned before, we're doing a new contest this year where we're giving away $25 Amazon gift cards, but it is a race. The first person to claim out of the 3 contest winners we select is the one that walks away with the prize. Today we've got David Hurd. Hey David, how you doing? Rolanda Duncan. Hey Rolanda, great to see you. And Jason Kelly. Guys, I'm rooting for each of you. First person to email contest@vipfinancialeducation.com to claim is going to walk away with this $25 cash value on Amazon.com. Hop to it.